Hello, everybody, to the Joys of the Journey. My name is Svetelina.
And I'm Christian.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about our marriage and all the ups and downs we went through. And I feel like this is a topic that a lot of people kind of ask us a lot because we've been married. This year is going to be 20 years in the end of the year. Make sure that we mention to the podcast the gift that I gave you. This is going to be later for one of our anniversaries.
Okay.
The glasses. Me and Chris started dating when we were 18. We went to a tournament together. I'm not going to repeat the same story how we met because we actually have a video in our fencing club. In the fencing club YouTube account.
Yes.
But anyway, very quick for whoever don't have time to watch it. We went to a World Cup. We're fencing coaches. We used to be fencers. We were competing nationally, internationally, representing Bulgaria. So we met with Chris on a World Cup, and we just clicked. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like sometimes you see in the movies and you don't think it's happening, but I feel like the attraction was immediately from both sides. Obviously, when we started talking, we just had so many conversations. We were talking for hours because we were taking a train, the whole team.
36-hour trip, I believe.
Yeah, 36
each way.
That's crazy. So anyway, we were on the train for a long time, and we've never had we never stopped talking. That was crazy. And then I came home and I was talking to my friends because they were like, how was it? Because I was nervous that I'm going to be with 3 boys. I don't even like them. I don't know who they are. I don't know what I'm going to do for 3 days. We had no phones at the time. I wasn't a book reader, so crickets. And I told one of my friends, I was like, I think I like somebody a lot. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, you said it, you don't like anybody. I was like, I think this guy is special. So then, long story short, we started dating. After my prom, I moved to live in his city, and we were 2.5 hours apart with a car. And we started working with your mom, and I started training in his city, which was the capital. And the fencing was way more. The training was better there. And then Chris came to United States. I followed. And when I was 21, we married in Reno. Not the best place to get married, but... And our wedding was we had no money. I mean, I had my wedding dress gift from a friend.
Wedding on a budget.
Yeah.
So to simply said.
Yeah. Our first night after being married, we had with friends, and they were actually our witnesses, brother and sister. We're still very close with them, and we're sharing room because there was no money. I mean, people like everything was expensive, so we had a double queen bed, and they had, but the hotel was terrible, by the way. It's like. Anyway, but those are fun stories, and I don't want to have this magical wedding. I need to have those stories to explain to people like how sometimes it's gonna be. And anyway, long story short, it's 20 years of marriage, and let's go to the good and maybe to the bad and to, I'm sure people will think, like people that know us, they always asking us, how is it, how are you making it work? And I feel like the one thing that was important to us is we didn't want to change each other. In a way, like you gotta kind of accept the person the way the person is. You cannot change the person.
It's funny how every now and then now on Instagram I see those videos. They're very kind of like I don't know if memes or something where you go home, you're tired, or you get out of the shower and then your wife jumps on you and starts like cleaning your face up or something. That was one of the things I heard a lot in the beginning, but I had to deal with it in a way. So,
but actually, this is still happening sometimes when you're eating. Like some people, when they eat, they're a little messy, and you are. Like Chris is gonna eat something, and he's gonna have like food in place. I'm like, why are you eating like this? And one of our kids is the same way, and it's just. I mean, I'm laughing because I can't change him, but I can definitely say they're people, and you just have to accept it. The other thing that I cannot change. It's like the socks. Like you take off your socks, you put them next to the bed, and your mom is always saying, "I raised my kids so well about Chris," and I'm like, "Did you teach him about the socks? Because this is something for 20 years that is going on." But here's the thing, I feel like you gotta love the person with all those things, because I'm sure I do some stuff that he's annoyed about, but he's kind of passing it by. You cannot pick on each other with the little
Well,
things.
it's gotta be again. It's one of the important things again is that, and I think many probably issues arise from the part where somebody's gotta compromise something major instead of like I don't joke about it, but it's funny where when I worked my day job in the office, I met a lot of people that they found their husband or wife through online dating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's really with the profiles that they create, and when you put everything out there the way it is, then I really find this like workable, because otherwise it's like some people would just compromise on something very heavy that they didn't want to, and then they suffer almost like couple of years until they can't do it anymore, and they're like, okay, I'm done with this. So it's really the important part is to be honest and to really kind of lay it down of what your goals are,
and what you're willing to compromise.
Yes, because it's like
I think for a woman will be a
different.
child.
It's different when like when you date somebody, then when you live together with them, then it's a lot of variables.
Some people believe that they should not live together before marriage, which I personally disagree. I don't think I would know what kind of life I'm going to have with you if I never lived with you, because you have to see what are the people's habits. It's one thing you're going to a hotel to a vacation for 10 days. You can play around, but when you live with somebody, you actually see them, like their habits, and can you be okay with that? Let's say if he wants to wake up 5 a.m, and do some drums, and we're sleeping until 7 with the kids. I mean, I think I'll kick him like to the garage or something. But I'm saying certain things that you can deal with and others you cannot deal with. And I think the other thing is like maybe the addiction. I think some people are, whatever the addiction they have, it's like
hobby. You mean?
No, like the drug addiction, the alcohol and the stuff. And if you think like after marriage they might change, the whole conversation has to be before you even go into the whole marriage thing. Like you got to see the person changing. The person is not going to change when they get married. You lost?
I just wonder. It's okay.
No, because some people are alcoholics before they get married.
No, I understand. But I mean, that's, again, it's not easy. Some, even now, like even when we're in Bulgaria, because we still keep contacts, it's like, for some reason, many people are not getting married right now. They just live together, have kids together, but marriage is like, oh, I don't want to.
But maybe marriage is not for everybody.
Deal with it, yeah. So it's really, for us, I mean,
if it works for them.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation for us, because like towards again the end of high school, probably that helps too, where we as like younger, that's funny because every now and then I also see those stories again. Somebody's like 40 right now or 35 right now, and they're like, they want to date somebody, and they're like, what's going on right now? It's like, this is not dating.
It's a different world.
This is something else here. What's happening?
I mean, if we were not married, let's say, I don't know how to date right now in this age. Like, I don't know, like the social media and everything. We didn't have this before, so now it's completely different ballgame. I don't know what people do when they're dating. I just don't know.
Yeah, text, wait, not wait, respond, not respond, like emoji, no emoji, like I don't know.
Yeah. So somebody's gonna ask, like, did we ever had like a major down? And I wouldn't say we've been on a step of divorce ever, honestly, but we had rough patches. And I think for me, and we've had this conversation before, was when you were working so much and we were so tired of everything, and we felt like it's constant, like the same thing. And like Chris was born, our firstborn was born, and he was a very, very difficult baby. Like a lot of babies, he wasn't sleeping, and I was losing weight every day. I didn't even have time to eat. I was losing so much weight, like literally like daily, that a couple of days after we brought him home, and there were some parents from the fencing club coming and visiting me, and they saw me when I opened the door. I was like, they were asking me if I'm okay. I'm like, I don't know. I think I am. I mean, I'm first time mom. I had no family or nothing. I had no clue what to do with this baby. You delivered the baby. They're giving you the car seat with the baby. It's like, good luck. And you're
Yeah, that
like,
was experience.
that
Yeah.
was something. And I was 25. So I think I feel like we were very young. But for us, I don't regret it. I'm just saying that, like, when you're thinking about, I know so many 25-year-olds. I'm like, oh my gosh, you should not have a kid right now.
However, at the same time, you see people that are 18 and 19 and they have kids. So it's
But
like
maybe
it's,
they're more mature. I don't
I
think
don't
at
know.
18, 19 I was going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, but that was the rough time because Chris was working so much, and then at night he needed to sleep. But also, I was not sleeping 24/7. Like, I think like Chris, our son, he was awake like every hour and a half, 2 hours, like constantly. And the only time he was sleeping was in the car. So I remember that, like, I had the car seat at home and I put the blanket, the like light blanket that you put on the kids when they sleep, and I'm like, and I was just shaking this thing. He was kind of falling asleep, and I'm like doing this. This is very rough for all the new parents, whether you stay home dad, stay at home mom. It's very rough, like mentally, physically. You cannot think straight, and that's the problem.
with every kid, because I mean, with
Yeah.
every kid, it's like a reset button. Like you start everything all over.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I would say that was the roughest times where I was questioning, like, should I be even still married because we don't help each other? But I knew that it's not like, oh, what about me? I knew that he's in the same position. He wants to have more time with me and with us, but he was working to provide for us. But then on the other side, I was feeling like abandoned. And I'm like, why are you not waking up to feed the baby at least once a night, please? And Chris was always saying, why don't you wake me up if I'm sleeping? Because he was dead tired. But I was so annoyed that, like, the baby was crying and he doesn't hear it. And I was just annoyed, and I'm waking up and I'm feeding the baby. It just was this cycle of like, oh my gosh. So I feel so bad for every new parent who has a difficult time. And I promise you this is going to pass. But make sure you don't lose yourself and your marriage. And if you love your husband and he loves you, just, it's not worth it losing this for like.
yeah, probably one thing that I would have done different is, again, make sure that we save date night no matter what. That's one of the things,
Yeah.
probably now looking back, that I would have done this better, to make sure, again, is like you have time to work on your relationship in terms of
Yeah.
making sure everybody's on the same page. We had a situation a couple of times where we've been working and trying to save for the business, and then one time I'm like, okay, it's been so many years, we've been saving, but then it's like we're just living on the edge. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, I really like to take my family on vacation and have time to have
Yeah.
some fun, because the time is passing by, and as I
And
said,
you'll never pay the bills. You'll
yeah,
never pay the
bills, there'll always be bills, and you just gotta make sure, again, earlier as a family, to really have good planning, to make sure, again, have a, maybe, I don't want to say not impossible, but long-term goal where you know it's gonna take a little bit time to accomplish, but at the same time, again, you have something to look towards to. It's kind
Absolutely.
of like you do one vacation and then you're like, okay, I'm back, but now when is the next one? So
Yeah.
it's really, when you have, again, a goal of making sure that you will make the time and effort to do whatever you can to have the vacation family time. And then when you look at, again, how to make the future better, let's say for your kids,
Yeah.
for the family in general, for the next generations. And at the same time, you don't want to be, again, with your hands tied up,
No, yeah.
where we're only thinking about the next generations, but then what about
Because you got to think about you
the
too.
present?
And I
you
tell my
know?
kids, like, we are giving them as much as we can do, but also sometimes I got to think about us too. We're always giving, but our relationship is extremely important for the family dynamic to work. A lot of I think the husband wife they don't really pay attention that much at their relationship because we're taking care of the kids. But then when we start fighting, this affects the kids. And sometimes we don't understand that because the kids will not understand. You need time, you need date, you need this and that. The kids are kids and they want their own, like, they want you to buy them stuff. They want to play games. They just want. So it's something that you got to kind of put a foot in. It's like, this is how it should be. And I feel this also creates, like, for them, like, what kind of life maybe they want to live. That we've never threw stuff at each other. We've never had like big fights. We've never had. I don't remember us ever, like, screaming at each other or something like to that capacity. Ever.
No.
We've never called each other names. I don't remember, like, I might joke calling you something,
No,
but
but
it wasn't
for me,
like...
like for me in general, it's like this is again crossing the line. I mean, when you care about somebody, I can't even think about it. So it's really a situation where it goes to this level. Then it's almost like
It doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And I feel like when you take care of each other, because I do love when Chris is very, very, I mean, I cannot complain. I mean, I might be whining about stuff with him, but he knows, like, he does so much for me and the family, and I try to do the same. And sometimes we're gonna have days like he's preparing the lunch boxes or whatever, but then when he travels, he knows it's on me and stuff. We're trying to balance things. We don't have like assigned jobs, because some days I just don't feel it. I'm just like, Chris, let me just stay for 1 hour and do nothing. And other days I'll be recording a bunch of videos for the YouTube channel. And I mean, the business is the biggest chunk for us, like, working on.
Yes, because then you have we kind of again look at each other, because again, I see things through my eyes, you see things through your eyes.
And we're different people.
We do see things, some things we see together, we're on the same page, some we don't, and then it's good when we kind of again, we need to make sure, again, the business growing. At some point, it's like you start stretching yourself too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then one person's got to say, okay, wait, we got to do something about it before it gets out of control, because then it's going to be painful a little bit later. So we need to make sure that every now and then we kind of say, stop and calibrate to make sure things are done properly. Because again, it's like, especially with our business, with the Fencing Academy, we have kids that come in and they go. We have the kids for maybe 8 to 10 years.
Yeah. We pretty much
even
raise those
short,
kids.
we kind of raise the kids, we help them and everything. But then again, towards the end of the day, they do leave. And that's our job. So we just need to make sure that sometimes we have 5 kids, sometimes we have 25 kids. And then sometimes we can control this, sometimes we can't control this. And we need to see how us as coaches or business owners, we cannot be absolutely everywhere. So we need to make some compromises, because again, the other day we had the situation where I was thinking, hey, it came up where there may be like a staying in Europe for 14 days because of tournaments, but then at the end of the day, it's like, wait a second, it's like there are 3 or 4 days in between, so I can actually come back. So I would rather do that and spend time with the family, especially now we have like birthdays coming up.
We have
too.
1 week of birthdays, and that's the week Chris is kind of going. He's like, no, I'm not going to stay in Europe for that long, because I felt bad that he's going to travel.
So it's really, the plan was originally to stay, but then looking at it, I was like, I really don't think about it much when I booked the ticket, and then all of a sudden, once I booked the ticket, I was like, wait, what am I doing? The good news is, like, I have like 24 hours to change and cancel things. So then I was able to regroup things to make sure that, again, we can spend time together, because it's like 2 weeks now, again, in the middle of winter, it's not ideal.
But also, like, sometimes things don't happen the way we want. Let's say, for instance, like, I was telling Chris that when I was delivering babies, I don't know if he's going to be in tournament or not, or whatever is going to happen. And I cannot be upset of the situation, because we signed up for this kind of life. We are doing our business because we love to do it. And whether I deliver baby or not, and whether Chris is going to be there or not, I have to be okay with that. And that's kind of, I will be sad, but I have to accept it. It's not like it has to be perfect. Chris is going to be there 5 days before. I want the push present. All those things actually for us don't matter much. I mean, I will be deeply sad, like, oh, I wish if he's not here. But
well, happily, I was there all the time. So, yeah. Because one was like, I think we had nationals, and I think I left a day or 2 before the end, but then it worked out. Because the kid was delivered, I think, 3 days after the end of nationals.
Yeah.
But you never know. Now it's like nationals falls on my birthday.
Yeah.
He got put like sooner, so but it is what it is. I mean,
and I don't think we emphasize that much on that, because I don't want one day to be special for us, and I'm trying to make if we can have every day a little special in every day. And I feel like when the kids are now, all of them are in school. Isabel is already in school. She's not at home anymore during the day, like the 4 hours during the day. So we cherish this time that we spend together, where we're going to watch a little bit movies, or whether we're going to go grocery shopping and stuff. We do a lot of things together. Actually, we do everything together. And I think we are asked a lot, like, how do you work
Well,
together?
that's the other time. The other thing that we actually we spend a lot of time together and we kind of work together. But for me, more like when we go to work, I'm more in the zone of like I kind of almost block that in a way, and you get mad at this like every now and then because it's like, oh, I'm not your student, so don't coach me.
Okay, so the way sometimes it's funny because we, like, whether it's when we're at the club or where we're here, and Chris hasn't shifted this thing that I'm his wife, and sometimes he's like telling me something, I'm like, whoa, I'm not your student, or I'm not your kid, or something.
So sometimes I get the comment of stop coaching me.
Yeah.
But that's again the part where again it's like we talk to a lot of colleagues, and it's difficult with our job is where I mean, we really love what we're doing. Again, we work hard to make the kids better so then we can travel with them nationally, internationally. So those things are more, again, of a little distraction of the everyday repetition. During summer when we don't have much tournaments, then we feel like, okay, when are the tournaments going to come up? And then when tournaments coming up, then like, okay, when are we going to have a break? So
it's always something.
It is what it is. And we got a balance. We find a balance to it. Sometimes, again, it's like I say, okay, I'll stay back home. Yeah. Then she'll say, I'll stay back home. Because, again, one way or another, you get tired. So everybody needs to kind of, if they don't feel right, then they'll just skip it this time.
And for some people, actually working together may work, and for others may not work. This works for us. I mean, we've never had issues working together. We're always like frustrated if we cannot be together. So he was together on the tournament. So Chris is like, come with me to this tournament in Europe, please. But then he knows that in this season of my life, and he knows that we discussed this even last year, I'm taking a little bit of backseat because I have to take care of me. And as we say, like the mental health and all this, because I was so burnt out from traveling and the kids in the schools that there was a point where I felt like numb and I stopped enjoying it. And I don't want this because I love our job more than not more than my family, but I'm saying that I love it, and I didn't want it to be completely like done. And because as a coach, the emotions goes up and down daily, weekly, and you might succeed today, tomorrow is a new day, and you start grinding again. And it was really, really tough. So he knew that, like, I understand you got to take care of you, and I want you to take care of you, even though I wanted to spend a couple of days in Europe with you. We will go to Europe. It's just like, we respect each other's how we feel at the moment, and he's not trying to push me to feel like, oh, you should come. So I feel bad about it. But he knows also that for me, being here with the kids is also kind of crucial because they're still young, especially Isabel. And I feel like as a mom's mentality, like you're so messed up in the head of like, you're going for 2 days in a tournament and you're feeling like the guilt, you're not there, even though your kids don't need it. They need their iPads, their computers, they want to be fed, and that's pretty much it. But that's different conversation.
Yeah, because it's with the academy, we have a lot of kids that almost like we treat them like being our kids too.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like sometimes difficult for us to separate this, but again, it's like those are your own kids, so they need your attention, and we gotta give them our time too. Because one way or another, it's like I look at this graph on Instagram the other day where the graphics of how much time you spend with your kids, and by the time they reach 20, then it drops down. So it's really, really something that we need to pay attention to, because then we have us, and then also we have kids. I don't want to say you sign up for this, but then that's part of life. It's like kids need their parents. Again, we love our kids, so we love each other.
Absolutely. So I wanted to mention for the glasses. So for our anniversaries, actually, we don't do this like big gifts and like thousands of dollars in this. I believe in us and what we give to each other, like in a sense of, I love when Chris buys me flowers and stuff, but we're not doing like big things. If he feels like he wants to buy me something, that don't have to be a certain like a holiday or anniversary or anything. That's what I'm saying is like, I'm not staying and expecting something. I never had a push present, and I don't expect a push present because it's just weird. Like, it's not like I don't care about gifts. It's more like there shouldn't be a designated
Well,
gift.
there are different traditions. So depending on the traditions, we us being Europeans,
It's
it's
just
a little
different.
bit different mentality.
But so one anniversary, I wanted to do something special for Chris, and this was the biggest fail. So I went to the mall and I ordered those champagne. What are they?
Champagne-
They're champagne crystal
glasses, yeah.
And I wanted to have them writing the name and the date of when we got married. So for our, I think it was 10th anniversary, and I was super excited. And and we're sitting in the car. Chris came with me to pick up the gift, and we're in the car and he's opening the gift. And I'm like waiting, and I'm seeing him reading, and I'm waiting, and he doesn't say anything. I'm like, "You like it?" And Chris is like, "Yeah, I really like it. I wish it was the correct date." So backstory to the date. When we got married, it wasn't a date that we picked that it was our favorite, because if I get married, I would probably choose spring, summerish. We just had to get married. And that sounds like we had to. No, we wanted to get married, but anyway. So we married in October, but I wrote in November. And it wasn't the fault of the store. Actually, I am always saying that date in November. I don't know why. So on our glasses, we have November instead of October, people. And in one day, Chris is like, this is so funny, because if a husband makes the mistake of doing this to a gift, it would be a big, probably fight for the rest of their life. And for me, it's so funny because I made the mistake and I'm laughing at it. I was really upset first and I'm laughing because this is like crazy. But those are the things that make everything, like the marriage, the friendship,
Yes,
the
and
ups and the
now we
downs.
remember the date better because of that.
Yeah, I do remember that when we went after we got married to the club, everybody was dressed as Halloween. That's what I'm trying to remember. The date was in October. It wasn't in November. But that is pretty much like, I mean, we're still learning like daily. And by the way, we don't like a lot of things, like in the sense of Chris doesn't read books. He's not into reading books. I try to read here and there. Certain shows he likes to watch. I don't like to watch them. But it doesn't mean that like we're just completely like he's staying in one room, I'm staying in another. If he's watching certain show, I'm there. I might be drawing. I might be doing something while he's watching. We might have a chat in a little bit, but I cannot make him like Real Housewives if I ever watch them, or me watching like guns and like stuff all the time. I feel like,
Yeah, you like the gardening. I like the barbecuing. So.
yeah, Chris loves barbecuing and he's the king, and I love gardening. And I feel like you're finding your own balance, because sometimes you need to be by yourself in a way, like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like zen. And I think that so far has been working, and we're changing, we're getting older. And you always want to find something that you love about your partner so much. So you keep falling in love every time, in a way, like, because I don't think my feelings have changed from the moment we start dating to even today. And I always thought, like, I was told, like, oh, once a couple of years you guys are into marriage, you're gonna be just like kind of roommates, and that's not our case.
Well, you gotta have again. It's we are husband and wife, but then also we're friends,
We're partners.
partners. So again,
everything.
there will be tough times. One side of the family, the other side of the family.
Yeah.
So it's really, again, we gotta
You gotta be there
sometimes
for each
easier,
other.
sometimes fun, sometimes not.
Sometimes not so fun, and I mean
It's good to know that you have somebody to talk
absolutely
to and
to lean on.
help you.
Yeah, and if something doesn't work for you, you just have to open the door and just leave. That's my suggestion. Anyway, thank you guys. I mean, I don't think there's anything right now that we can add. But
No.
if you have any questions, we can create more videos or whatever that is. That works for us. I don't know if it's going to work for everybody. That's our experience. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching and listening to our podcast, The Joys of the Journey. Make sure that you follow it. You follow our Instagram account or YouTube channel, because this is going to help the channel grow so we can do more of those videos and eventually, have a big stars guest here. So we talk about the joys of the journey. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.